What's up? I'm Dan Fradenburgh, and this is another Chance Encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fradenburgh. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. Power lines that are just kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fradenburgh.
I'm joined today with Masha Klapanova. How'd I do on that one?
Wonderful, amazing. I'm impressed already. Impressed.
Okay, well, you're far too kind. But for those of you in the audience who don't know these Chance Encounter interviews, I interview commercial real estate investors. In this case, Masha is in the self-storage area primarily. Usually it's multifamily, but commercial no matter what. But these are very condensed format because what we do is we go through the 5 different motivations that I'm aware of for why somebody would want part of another commercial property. And then after that, I go through the 6 different roles that are in most commercial property. We're going to find out in a second how well it applies specifically to self-storage. But then I ask you to subscribe, which you totally should. But Masha, one of the most important things I think to become more successful is being able to introduce yourself. So can you please introduce yourself?
Most definitely. My name is Masha Klapanova, and you pronounce it right. And I am a self-storage investor, inspirational speaker, as well as very healthy lifestyle enthusiast. And been pursuing self-storage investing for the past a year and a half, coming from residential background and understanding that commercial world is so much more fun, so much more collaborative, and there's so much potential for scalability. So I asked my coach of residential real estate investor, can I pursue self-storage? And she's like, no, it's not possible. You have to be a super experienced residential real estate investor. And then maybe like after a few years, you can switch to commercial. But obviously I decided not to listen to her and start doing self-storage. So this is what I've been doing. I just love this industry. I developed my own underwriting model. I've built a team. And at the moment right now, we're going to be expanding. Actually, I got into construction as well, because why not? I mean, there's so much demand in many markets. So if you can find one, why not to build one? So this is shortly who I am, and yeah, Masha, self-storage investor.
All right, that was really, really awesome. So the first thing we usually go through is the motivation, and I got to edit that out because I need to go over to this one right there, and I need to hit that. But as I was saying, first we go through motivation, because a lot of sometimes we get beginners on Chance Encounters, and they'll always know their motivation. They might not know the role that they'll play. And I do see that the slide says apartment complex, but commercial deal still applies. It's the same idea. So the 5 different motivations. The first one I found is some people, especially if they have, you know, family office or whatever, they depend on their wealth for their income, not from their labor. Then they have to be concerned about inflation. And so it's going to be really important for them to have commercial assets for that exact purpose. The second reason is the one that's most applicable to me, which is that as a high earner in tech, I have the opportunity to earn a high salary, but then if I want to accumulate wealth, there's an intermediate step of income tax. So it makes more sense for me to take my tech skills and apply them to commercial real estate and get equity in return. The next reason is the most common one, which is to fast track your retirement. And there are a couple things that are implied in saying fast tracking your retirement. One is that it doesn't really count. Like someone fresh out of university can't really say I'm fast tracking my retirement because they haven't, you know, saved anything or accumulated anything in the first place. But the second one, which is more important, is that it implies that there's some sort of end insight, so maybe like once they're an accredited investor, they'll say enough is enough. I don't know where that's easy to retire on, that amount these days, but whatever. The next group, though, they are the super ambitious ones. They want to buy their entire hometown. There's no limit to their ambition. Maybe it's because they have a little itty bitty, but you never know, right? So the nice thing about having somebody like that on your team is that they'll keep on hustling and working up into their 90s. So they're important to have in the team. But the last group is kind of their opposite, which is the people who have some sort of section of society that they want to help, or maybe it's about animals or like something like that. I suppose it could be land preservation, anything. But as long as they realize that accumulating wealth is one of the best vehicles to make a difference in society, then commercial properties and their appreciation is a pretty good move, if I do say so myself. So out of those 5 different motivations, which ones do you feel describe your own situation or resonate with you the most, Masha?
I mean, definitely the last one, but in just different a little bit of manner. With self-storage, it's not so much about tenants. What I'm doing self-storage investing is, make a difference in this world. And in this situation is actually dogs. I'm planning to create a program for foster housing and to be able to just really influence, because I believe dogs bring so much kindness to human beings. And if more people will be able to adopt dogs, they will become kinder themselves. So it's not only impacting on dogs, but so this is where self-storage investing, I see that I can be able not only gain obviously financial freedom, but it's really that what I call freedom of choice, is to be able to do whenever I want to, whatever I want to, with whoever I want to. And if I have investing the running on the background, I will be able to put the time and make that impact. So this is definitely that whenever I had big challenges, and when I was like, when 100 banks said no to me, to my loan, that's the thing, that I'm going to do something bigger, push me through. It's more than just having money or something, a car, right, a house, even like helping family. But I know that I'm doing this for something bigger that pushed me through and keep trying to get the loan. We actually got the loan, but yes. So that's what probably one of the things that definitely resonated with me.
That's interesting, because I was just thinking as you were saying it that if you attached a kennel or an SPCA or something like that to self-storage, that actually, it's a good synergy, I think. I don't know if you could make it work numbers wise, but you know what I mean? Especially if you have a more rental lifestyle, it's pretty easy if you want to go on vacation for, like a week or whatever, you just put your stuff in storage, put your animals in the kennel, and then off you go, right? So I don't know, it might be a little abstract, but just
that's interesting. I never thought of that. That's a good
it checks both of your boxes, right? So
yes, it does.
I suppose that it'd only be in the more densely populated areas that would really work.
Of course, yes, more like urban areas, definitely. Yeah.
Right. So we'll get to that as far as the geography of we call it your buy box. It's the geographic areas that you're talking about, and we'll know if it makes sense to have that. But first, we'll go through the different roles in a commercial deal, and there might be a little bit of difference. You were saying that there's some construction involved that you're doing now, so that will apply to this. But generally in multifamily and whatnot, the first type of role is a repositioner. So a repositioner will have to look at a lot of different properties, and they'll have to figure out which ones have the upside. So they're underwriting it, they're doing the actual math. I help the repositioners streamline that underwriting process. And so when the repositioners are looking for upside, the 2 main ways that you can do that is through operations. If your operations are more efficient, then you see there won't be as much money going down the toilet. But the money is also an important thing to let people know that the bookkeeping and the marketing is also part of the GP operations team. So, because keeping those vacancies low is really important. But right now, it's the hottest real estate market in history. So, just finding more efficient operations probably won't cut it enough to make it have enough upside. So, you still probably need a contractor team so you can spiff the place up, replace all the crummy stuff and put something nicer in there. And then that way you can increase the rents, which is probably the only way that you're going to have substantial upside on most things. But me, I'm remote based. I'm from the internet. So that means I always need a local. I'll need the boots on the ground. Okay. Because you need somebody to oversee the operations, make sure the trash is actually being taken out and whatnot. And you have to make sure that the contractors aren't cutting corners or spoofing their photos that they send off to you or whatever. So that's more or less what most people think of when they think of the team for running the building. But when you want to acquire it, you got to go to the financier. In other words, the bank, another form of financier would be a capital raiser. But so you go to the financier, say, hey, I need to borrow millions of dollars. And they say, well, that's cool with what I see, but who's your sponsor? And that's the one that most beginners don't know. So, right, exactly. So they have to already own, if you want to get the loan, somebody in the fold, the sponsor has to already own a similar asset. So even if Elon Musk wants to buy an apartment complex that's like 300 units, then they're going to need somebody in the fold who has 300 units.
And they have to make sure that they guarantee the loan, because I got someone experienced, but we did discuss they're going to be guaranteeing the loan. So that didn't work. So just getting someone that has experience, they need to make sure that they agree to guarantee the loan.
Right, right. And then the last piece of the puzzle is that somehow you have to have a balance sheet that's at least the amount of the loan. But those are the 6 different roles. And so first, I guess, before we go into what the differences are between this and self-storage as far as the roles go, because this is more for multifamily. First, when you co-GP on a deal, what's your core competency, or what role are you most likely to play?
Yeah, and first of all, self-storage is very similar, right? I mean, honestly, it's still commercial asset class, and we just don't have that many toilets there, so that's definitely a big plus. But what I play is I'm definitely a connector. I love people. I love connecting with people, and I like connecting to build teams. That's for sure my role, and this was my role. I discovered also role that I'm an underwriter. I can't say I like it the most because I don't like to spend hours in front of a computer. But at the moment, I developed my own underwriting model, so I do underwriting. I'm definitely not. So, and you want me to compare to how self-storage, right? This also works in self-storage. So again, we have small deals and we have large deals, right? So I would say over $1 million, definitely need to probably do capital raising. So it's, and I would say I have access to some investors, but I would potentially, if we have something like several $1 million deal, I would bring a capital raiser, definitely on a deal. KP, banks, I can't say I'm the most favorable person. I'm fine. I'm okay. But I know there's definitely people who has with high liquidity or with bigger experience I would bring. And this is what I made a mistake. I thought bringing an experienced person on a deal will help me get a loan, but he didn't want to guarantee the loan. Even though he said, oh, if it's needed, I will. But when it was needed, he did not. So, anyways, so we end up getting a private loan. After going through over 100 banks, our financing ended up to be a private loan, which we got great rate from private investor. So NGC, so the GC part that exactly you're talking about, this another mistake that I made is not bringing an experienced partner who is done construction or storage. So Masha had to go and for several months figure out and learn construction world. So now I know the construction world, but it's been just, I could have done already like a few months ago, started already where I've been stuck. So really it's always making sure you don't try to get all the pie to yourself, and know your strengths, your weaknesses, and then you can find the opposite and mitigate and complement your weaknesses with someone else.
Right. And so as a connector, like it's the same as with me because I'm remote based, you really do have to understand all the roles to the point
Oh
where you can
yes,
at least be competent at doing it, it's
of
and
course.
right, my background is in scaling, right? So because of that, that's something I'm always very sensitive to. You only have so many hours in a day, and uh,
True.
make sure that you make the right puzzle. But
Yeah, but I'm also remote. I'm completely 100% remote. So we have boots on the ground. So somebody who checks. And again, it could have helped us to get a loan if one of my partners actually live in North Carolina. None of us, one of my partners is New York based, another is Texas based, and I am Miami based or Haiti or Russia or somewhere, but definitely not North Carolina. And finding that partner that was based, we could have gotten a loan so much easier.
yeah.
So make sure you know what your lender will want from you and as your team.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so as far as ideal properties, like so with multifamily, we say geographic areas and unit count. You might go off of like square footage and then the amount that you can expand. Can you describe the easiest property for you to say yes to?
Of course, it's all about just supply and demand. Everything else comes second. Everything. If there is already too much self-storage in that radius, we look at when we analyze, we look at the radius, we don't look at the particular. So actually, realistically, if you look 5 miles and you go away and like 5-10 miles away, this is your new market in a way. You need to do complete new supply demand analysis, because in different pockets, like here 5 miles could be oversupplied, here could be oversupplied, but here could be actually still demand for self-storage. So when you do like what I do, one of the first things I like definitely do is kind of call competitors and see, hey, I'm going to rent a unit, and trying to get a feel of how occupied they are. Are they offering you a bunch of units? That means
Yeah.
that maybe they're like oversupplied, or they're like, oh, we actually don't have anything. Oh, we only have 10 by 10. Oh, we maybe next week going to have something coming up. Call us later. So just by that, if I know there's demand, let's do it. And could be destroyed facility, could be, I mean, running pretty well, but if you're running well, you still have to have that value add factor, right? So with the facility in North Carolina, he wasn't really, there was, the management was okay. I mean, it was not bad, but he was charging low rents. And he even had like, how to say, like on the wall saying all his rents. So he was not even planning to increase them for a while. So we just jumped in and we increased all the rents. We went aggressively, we tested the market, and we will be able to double our cash flow and add a substantial amount of value to our storage.
Right.
So yeah, so supply demand, and looking, there's some aspect of value add in a facility. Can be already not a home, but close to home. I mean, not home run, but a great deal.
Excellent, excellent. And then everybody in real estate, we're also social and we're all out to help each other. But the fact is, there's some types of real estate people that we can assist more than anybody else. So like it sounds like, because you're a connector, you want to meet all shapes and sizes and types of people in commercial. But is there a perfect person that you can describe for helping? And you're not allowed to break any SEC restrictions, so that means no enticing investors.
So what right now, particularly, I'm looking like, you mean it as a partner, right?
Yeah, well, just who can you help? So it would be either a partner,
Oh,
some
I can help. Someone who can I help? Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure. So anybody who's getting into industry, right, wants to get into self-storage, you can easily just knowing if there is obviously self-storage maybe around you that you've been passing by, or maybe some land and there's opportunity on the land to obviously build self-storage, but you can also put RV and storage, RV boat storage, which is just booming right now. Or maybe some like Kmart, like some closed down grocery store or retail, and basically, like even from, you can bring it to me or some other investor, and we can you can just either wholesale it, or you can become a part of the equity. I mean, you can become part of partnership, and you don't need to go and figure out your underwriting model, right? Figure out your how to manage the facilities, how to close, get funding. I mean, I already pretty much figure out all those pieces, or coming to some other experienced person and getting. So what I'm doing right now, I want to get into conversion projects, and I understand that I haven't converted self-storage, but I know I have a couple friends who have done it. So I would partner with them and they were going to share our piece of equity, and it's a win-win, right? That's why commercial real estate is so amazing. We can get into this, I mean, carefully, but into these great partnerships and grow together. I really love it coming from residential, some residential background where we all everybody's by themselves. They're like lonely wolves. They're all competitors. We're in a commercial world, we together, we can do so much more. So yes, so that's, I would say, if you want to get an industry and you may know some land or you've seen some empty building that's staying there or self-storage, that's it. Just bring the deal and we can figure out how we can make it happen.
Excellent. Yeah, right. Because I think the reason why we're so friendly and commercial is because you can't be all the sides of the deal. You just can't do it. It's absolutely impossible. But we met through some of the meetups that we do, and I found them through LinkedIn. Is that the best way to reach you, or is there a website that's better?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn, most definitely. Also, topchoiceinvestmentgroup.com. It's my website. You can go and book a call with me there. As well as I'm anywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Masha Klapanova. On Instagram is Masha Investor. That's it, simple as that. So yeah, reach out. I'd be so happy to talk anything about self-storage, commercial. Let's talk about something else too. I'm down.
Awesome. And hopefully you in the audience are down for reaching down under my left arm and clicking the big red button that says subscribe. That's evil. You need to click it so it's gray, because that way YouTube will pay for these videos instead of me, which is awesome,
Yes,
right?
please do it.
Right,
For sure.
very, very important. So please go ahead and do it. All it means is that it might add my videos on your list of suggestions, but it won't cost you a thing. But Masha, this has been fantastic getting to know you better. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks.